So we're going to start lying down today. If you want to, you can lie with your knees bent and your feet quite wide. So you take them all the way to the edges of your mat, and then the knees just kind of drop towards one another. I did mention if you've got a block, then grab one, because you might need that during the practice as well. But if you want to get that, you can. So when you're ready, just finding a comfortable position. If that suits you to lie that, then do. And then we're just going to begin today's practice, just taking a deep inhale through your nose when you're ready. And then we're just going to breathe that out through your mouth. So just taking your time to release all of the air out. We'll do that once more. So taking a deep inhale, so try and again fill up with as much air as you can. So trying to kind of get all the toxins out of our breath. And then exhaling through the mouth. As you come to the end of that, just closing your lips and beginning to breathe in and out through your nose. So taking your time, finding a comfortable rhythm. And beginning to draw your attention inwards. Using the breath to help us to arrive on the mat. To help the body relax a little bit. So the practice today is in cultivating patience. So in our yoga practice, we often get either a little bit disgruntled of where we are in a posture, so we perhaps want to go deeper, become a little bit impatient with that, or even just if we're in a posture that we don't think is that exciting or useful, we can become a little bit impatient. So it's really just trying to cultivate that sense of being able to just wait and to stay present as you're waiting. So we are going to begin today working a little bit through our core, just because in order to stay in postures for longer, we need to have a stronger core. So we're going to kind of work through that. So when you're ready, if you have your knees together, if you separate your knees, so bring your feet back in, so about hip distance apart. From there, we're going to lift your right leg up. We're going to cross your right leg, so over the top of your left, so there's no gap between your legs. And then from there, again, draw your belly in. We'll just gently lift that left foot up off the mat until at your fingers, so hands behind the back of your head. So as you inhale here, the knees draw in, the upper body lifts, so we give it a little bit of a squeeze. And then on the exhale, just slowly releasing down, but the feet don't touch the ground, they stay lifted. So we'll do that again. So inhale, drawing the knees in, giving it all a little bit of a squeeze. And lower down on the exhale. So start to move with the rhythm of your breath now, so aligning it towards your movement. Try and stay present to the sensations that you're creating in your body. And we'll do one more of these. And when you're ready, releasing back down, but keeping the legs crossed here. We're going to take a little kind of stretching movement now with the legs. So one hand on opposite leg. So you're going to try and either prise the knees apart, or you might be able to take your hands onto your shins or your calves, or maybe you can grab hold of your ankles or your feet. And then we very gently just kind of draw them in a little. Just a little stretch through the hips, try and relax the upper body. Again, being patient with where our hands will actually go, so not trying to force it to an uncomfortable position, but just being accepting of where we are at. Now we're going to keep the cross of your legs, but you can release your hands, and we're going to just very gently lower the legs over to the left. So as you do that, you might think it's a bit too much on that right hip, so you can always uncross your legs, maybe stretch your arms out, and maybe turn your head towards the right. When you're ready, slowly back towards the center. So just taking your time, uncrossing your legs, using your feet to even your hips up. And then we'll change sides. The left leg up and over the right, that tight cross. Lift your foot off the ground, interlink your fingers, hands behind the back of your head. So as you inhale, drawing it all in. And on the exhale, releasing down. Start to move smoothly and consciously. Let's do 2 more. So on the last one, release your upper body. So keeping the legs up, hands on the knees, shins of the calves or your feet, and then very gently start to draw in a little bit. So breathing into any tight sensations and releasing if it becomes too much. When you're ready, slowly release. Again, keep the legs crossed. Maybe spread the arms and lower the legs towards the right side. Maybe turning your head to the left if you like. Okay, when you're ready, back in towards the middle. So uncrossing your legs here. You can draw your knees in towards your chest. Now from here, we're going to make our way up. So you could either move forwards and back or roll over onto your side. And just coming up to a sitting position when you're ready. So as you come into the sitting position, we're going to stretch the legs out in front of you. So we're coming into Dandasana, or our staff pose. So we want to sit nice and upright. We want to try and roll the shoulders back. And if you can get your hands to the ground, then place them down. Otherwise, you can use blocks here. Try and engage through all of the muscles of your body. And then start to just set your attention. So steadying your gaze. Set your breath, so nice even breath. And then just see if you can just be here. So keep your awareness with the posture. Again, sometimes with certain postures, Vanessa probably fits that one, it can seem a little bit boring and perhaps not quite as useful as some of the more dynamic postures. But in the sutras, the mastery of an asana, so the way that you would decide whether you'd actually conquered that particular posture is whether you can sit in it with relative ease. So not whether you can move deeper into it or you can do the most advanced version of it, but really, can you just be there without feeling that you have to move on? Okay, let's take one more inhale. So from here, we're going to start to bend your left leg. So we'll keep the right leg straight and flex your foot a little bit. So as you bend your left leg, you're just going to move the foot just towards the inner thigh somewhere. If you do want to use a block here, you can definitely use it underneath that leg just to support it if you feel it kind of just hangs about. Now from there, we're going to start to move round towards the left. So with your right hand, if you place that onto your thigh somewhere, and then with your left hand, if you move that behind you a little bit more, so you're kind of coming in for a little bit of a twist here. And again, see if you can use that left hand to lift yourself up a little bit, so we're not kind of collapsing back, but we're really lengthening the spine. Now, option-wise, you can just stay here, just in this nice little twist, If you want to, you can reach up with your left hand, so just stretch it up towards the ceiling. And then if you want a little bit more, that left hand is going to reach over, so towards the right foot. And again, you might be able to reach it, but it's not essential that you get there. And try not to go around the front of it to get your foot. So you want to keep kind of stretching up and over towards that foot. So if you can reach it from there, then that's fine, but don't go around the front. And start to see if you can push down a little bit more. So through your left hip, and also you keep using that right hand. So it's not just there on your leg, but you're using it to kind of twist you around. So you're rotating the chest towards the ceiling, stretching through the side of your body, and both sit bones are down. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Slowly start to come back up. I'm going to come into a cross leg position. So your left leg is crossed over. I'm going to cross the right leg in. If you want to and you can manage, that right foot could go onto your left thigh. But again, don't tie yourself in knots to get there. If it doesn't feel like it's going to be comfortable, then just cross your legs. And then sit upright. So make sure you're still on your sit bones. Taking your right hand towards the mat, we're going to reach up and over this time towards the left side. Just taking that stretch over. So again, make sure your left hip presses down. You can bend into that right arm. You could also use a block here. So you could grab a block and place your forearm onto it if you want a little bit more of a stretch. But again, you do not have to. You just see how it all feels. And move into that. Make sure you can still breathe. Well done. Okay, on your next inhale, slowly come back up, reach up with both arms, so just stretch them up. And then as you exhale, we're going to fold forward. So we're just going to move towards the front. Again, you might just place your hands on the ground. Maybe you can walk out a little bit more. Maybe use your block again. So you could either use your block underneath your head here, or you could perhaps lay yourself down onto it. It's really up to you if you don't want to use the block and just simply staying here. You can release the hips a little bit, relax your shoulders and your head, and breathe. And when you're ready, slowly start to walk your hands back, so just towards your legs. We're going to come in for the other side. So if you bring both legs out and then maybe just give them a little shake. So when you're ready, then sitting upright, we're going to start to bend in through your right leg. So bringing it towards the inner thigh and using a block underneath that right thigh if you'd like. So keeping your left leg straight and your foot flexed a little bit. Start to rotate round towards the right. So your left hand just onto that leg and your right fingertips behind you. And start to just draw yourself around. And breathing into it. So either stay here or just reach straight up, so with your right hand. Or maybe take that right hand over towards the left foot somewhere. Again, it doesn't have to get there or reach there. We're just trying to stretch through the side of our body. And don't forget this left hand, so start to use it more to draw yourself kind of underneath that right arm, so you're kind of trying to pull yourself through. And when you're ready, slowly come back up again. So we're going to come into these cross legs again. So we've got a right leg crossed. We're going to bend the left leg in. And again, same thing applies. If you want to put that left foot onto your right thigh and it feels comfortable enough, then do that. And start to sit more upright. So let's move to the left. So left hand down and that right arm just stretching up and overhead. Again, if you want to deepen it, you can bend the elbow a little bit. You can use a block, or maybe you can take your forearm down towards the ground. but with not at the expense of lifting your right hip up. So keep pushing that right hip down. When you're ready on an inhale, start to reach back up. So stretch up with both arms and we'll move forwards once more. So just taking your time, coming down the center, releasing where you can. Using the block if you'd like to. And see if you can just soften into it. Patiently waiting for our body to open up. When you're ready, slowly start to walk your hands back, so towards your legs. We are going to move to all fours now, so just coming round. If you do want to use blocks, then just make sure they're kind of at the top of your mat. Come onto your hands and onto your knees, and as you come in, we'll do a few cat-cow movements here. So on the inhale, just dropping the belly down, pulling forwards through your chest. And on the exhale, rounding in, tucking the tailbone under, chin to chest. And then just move through it. Just breathing and moving. Well done. When you're ready, come back in, so towards the center in that posture. And then from there, we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to move to our first down dog. So you tuck your toes, just gently lifting the hips up. And as you come into down dog, maybe pedaling out your feet a little bit, so bending through one leg, and then bending through the other leg. And then today, if you want to, you could try this. So we're going to lift the heels up. We bend the knees and we drop the right hip just over towards the right side. And then back and towards the center on the exhale. So we do the same thing on the other side. So the heels lift, the knees bend, the hips drop over towards the left a bit more. And then press back up. You can try that one more time if you like, or just stay pedaling your feet. Bending your knees, hips moving down. Rise up. And then the other way. Well done. Let's make our way back in towards the center. So from there, we'll lift the heels up. Looking forward, you're just going to walk or step up towards the top of your mat. Just taking your time, unplugging your hands. Fold forwards. And then on the inhale, just lengthen. So stretch forwards through your spine. As you exhale, just folding all the way back in once more. And on the inhale, we'll reach up. So rising all the way up to the top. Bring the hands together. So just in front of your heart. Inhale, reach back up with the arms, and on the exhale, folding forward, so take your time. Good, lengthen your spine on the inhale, and as you exhale, hands down, and the right foot steps back, so we come into this lunge position. Lower your back knee towards the mat. As you come into this lunge, we're just going to make sure our knees over the ankle on the front leg, your back leg may go further back, but you just have to bring it to where you can. Your hands either on your fingertips to create a little bit of space, or maybe you bring your hands onto blocks here, so to lift your chest a bit more. So try not to collapse the chest down. Think more of drawing the chest forwards and up, and the belly is not dropping down either. We're lifting that up, chest forward. The only thing that's dropping down is our hips, and trying to allow the hips to lower down towards the ground here to stretch them out a little. Now we are going to come in for a twist. So your right hand can stay onto the ground or a block, left hand onto that left knee, and start to use your left hand just to draw your chest around. So we're keeping the hips pretty level as we rotate round. And then if you want a little bit more, just reach up. So through that left hand, trying to align the top arm with the bottom arm. Still trying to let the hips drop down. So using gravity here, let them sink. Use your breath, try and stay patiently with it. Well done. Let's take one more inhale. Slowly release your left hand, so down towards the ground. As we step back with that left leg, because your right leg was a bit further back, hopefully they're both further back, but if you need to move them, so if they're directly underneath your hips, you will need to move them back. Move your chest forward and bend your elbows to lower yourself down towards the mat. As you inhale, draw your shoulders back, lift your chest up a little bit, just a little baby cobra. And on the exhale, push back onto your knees again. So using your arms, tuck your toes and lift your hips, downward facing dog. Again, as you come into it, maybe take another cleansing breath. So it's a big breath in through your nose and a big sigh out through your mouth. Maybe pedal your feet or stay still in a stretch, but find patience within it. So we're just waiting with our present mind and our steady breath. Okay, let's take one more inhale. We'll lift the heels up, looking forward, so you can step or walk towards the top of your mat again. So as you come forwards on your inhale, start to lengthen forwards through your spine. And on the exhale, just folding back in again. As you inhale, reach up, so all the way up. And on the exhale, draw the palms together, so in front of your heart. Let's keep going. Inhale to reach. And then folding forwards on the exhale. Lengthen your spine on the inhale. And as you exhale, hands down and left foot back. So again, as far back as you can, lower your knee to the ground. Start to flatten out in your back foot, so relax it. So knee over ankle on the front one, up onto your fingertips or blocks. Start to lift your belly and lift your chest. Create a little bit of space there and let the hips sink. And from here, we'll come in for our twist. So we'll keep that left hand down, right hand onto your right knee. So start to rotate your chest round, so pull it around. Try not to affect anything else. And then maybe start to reach up, so through that right arm. So again, aligning the arms. Good, watch that front knee doesn't drop out, so squeeze it back into the center. Let the hips sink. Breathing, focus, gaze, steady breath. Okay, let's take one more inhale. So release the hand back down. So again, we're going to step back with that leg. So make sure your knees are further back than your hips. And then move your chest slightly forward, bend your elbows, lower down. Inhale, start to roll the shoulders back, lift your chest up. As you exhale, push back onto your knees, tuck the toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Then breathing in and a big breath out. Finding patience and presence within the posture. Okay, when you're ready, again, we'll lift the heels up, looking forwards, just step or walk up towards the top of your mat. Lengthen forwards on the inhale, folding back and on the exhale. As you inhale, reach up, and on the exhale, palms meet the heart. You're just taking a moment here, just with the eyes closed, and just start to feel that sense of presence. Okay, let's open the eyes, release the hands. We're going to come in and do a little bit of balance now. So just in our tree pose with a couple of variations that you can choose or not choose to do. It's up to you. So you can use a wall here if you'd like to. You can come off your mats, whatever suits you. So we'll start with the feet hip distance. We'll stand on your right leg and bend the right knee a little. So if you want to just bring your left heel in towards that right ankle, then that's fine. If you do want to move the foot higher up, then just taking it up towards the calf, avoiding the knee, and maybe coming towards the inner thigh, but just see where that feels. And then just bring your hands just towards the center of your chest to begin. And as you come in there, just starting to focus your gaze Even out through your breath. And again, being patient with where we're at. Now you can definitely stay with that. Today, if you want to, we're going to interlink your fingers and we're going to lift the arms up and overhead. And again, if it feels that it's going to kind of make you wobbly or all over, then please don't do it, but you know, try it. And just stay with a focused breath there. Now from there, if you want to, we're going to take a little lean over, so towards that left side. So it's kind of like a leaning tree. So we just gently lean over. We don't have to go very far, just enough to challenge our balance a little bit more. Focus your gaze, steady breath. Now one last bit of challenge, so coming back to the center. If you would like to here, you're going to lift up, so through that left knee. And then if you can, you're going to extend the left leg, flex your foot. We're not here long. Lower your hands, lower the leg, and release down. Good. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So stand with your feet hip distance. So being patient is recognizing that both sides of our body are not the same. So bending into that left leg a little bit, taking your right foot onto your calf, maybe moving it further up or down. It's really up to you, but come in to a position that you can be at ease in, you can be steady in, and you can focus in. So finding your breath, steadying your gaze, and you might just choose to stay here. If you would like to, you can interlink your fingers again and lift the arms up. And just see how it all feels. Breathing deeply. And either stay here or take that gentle lean over towards that left side. So again, right side even, but take your time. So one final challenge, if you'd like, come back to the center and then lifting up through that right leg. Again, if you can manage, flex your foot, draw it forwards, and slowly release everything down. So as you come down, we'll just bring your feet together, your hands, and maybe just taking a moment in that position just to see how everything's feeling in your body. Trying to be patient with our progress. Okay, when you're ready, release the hands, we'll open the eyes. So we're going to come in and do some standing postures now. If you do have a block, then you could grab one, because I will offer you half moon. You don't have to do half moon, but if you want to. And if you are doing it, we're going to be standing on our right leg first. So you take it to the outside of your right foot, but also slightly in front of where your right foot will be as you come up towards the top of your mat. And you can always adjust your block, both in terms of height and position. And if you don't want to do half moon, then you're going to stay in warrior two. So we'll begin at the top of your mat. We're going to take a little sun salutation to move through it. And again, you can modify or change that if you need to. So start with your feet together or apart, relax your shoulders down. So as you inhale, we'll reach up, so stretching all the way up. And on the exhale, folding forwards, bending into your knees. As you inhale here, lengthen forwards through your spine. And as you exhale, take your hands down and step to plank. So if you want to move straight into down dog from here, please do. Otherwise, lowering your knees towards the mat, or maybe just bend your elbows halfway to chaturanga, it's up to you. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. And on the exhale, we'll make our way back, downward facing dog. Now we're going to step your right foot up towards the top of your mat. We're moving to warrior one here. So stepping forward, spinning the heel of the back leg, and then start to rise up into warrior one. So shoulders and hips forward, arms reaching. You can always bend your arms, or maybe you take your hands together and move the arms back, going more into a back bend. Try and feel a balance through your feet and ease in your posture. And remember, mastery of it is when we find a relaxed, eased position that we can maintain. Breathing deeply and just try and stay present in it. Okay, let's take one more inhale. So we're going to open up to warrior two. So just taking your time, moving yourself around. Again, take the time to adjust your position. So you might be able to widen your legs here. Maybe you can sink deeper into it. Maybe stretching the arms out and opening your chest. And then sending your gaze past your fingers of that front hand. Good. Again, just work where it feels right, but do try and feel that balance in your feet. That openness in your hips. And then when you find the correct posture, try and just be present there. At ease. And at ease doesn't mean it's easy, so we don't opt for it to be so easy that we're not actually trying. It has to be counter with that strength. Let's take one more inhale here. We're going to move to Trikonasana now. So you might need to hop your back foot in. We are going to straighten your front leg. So if you need to move your back foot in a little bit, then do that. Push your left hip away, lengthen over the right leg. Release your right hand down and that left arm up. Again, if you want to use your block here, you can always take it and use it. You might want to take your hand onto the leg, but try not to lean too much onto it. And if you can get down and lower down further, but not at the expense of bringing the body forward. The body's still stretching out the way towards the side. Good, and support your neck, so we don't want the head to drop down, but keep it in line with your neck. Okay, let's take one more inhale. We're going to start to move up again, so draw your belly in. And as you come up, we are going to move to warrior two. So we're just going to re-bend that front leg. So you might choose to stay in warrior two if you want to come into half moon now. We're going to do it from here. So if you've got your block, just make sure it's in the right position. We're going to take your hand onto your block. We bend more into that front leg. And if you want to, you can hop the back foot in a little bit before you come up. And then just pushing through that front leg, start to lift the back leg up. You put it close to that shelf, but just lifting up. And as you lift up, start to open up. So we reach up with our top hand, flexing that back foot, opening up through your hip a little. And it's very much like triangle in this posture, apart from the fact we've got one leg lifted, obviously. But try and imagine that you're kind of leaning back a little bit with your shoulder and with your hip. And we're trying to open up through the side of your body still. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Now we are going to step back with that left leg, so just into that warrior two again. So just as carefully as you can, come back into it. Very nice. Okay, from there, release your hands down, so towards the ground. Turn on the toes of your back leg, so you're in a lunge, and then step back. And we're just going to lower your knees here to come into a wide leg child's pose. So the knees come wide, feet together. Start to set yourself back. Again, you might bend your arms. Relax the head and neck. Well done. Okay, we're going to do that on the other side. So when you're ready, slowly come up. So just into that all fours position again. Maybe make some movement when you get there. So you can either do a cat-cow or you can move your hips a little bit. And then from there, we'll tuck the toes and we'll lift the hips and we'll press back, downward facing dog. Good. Okay, when you're ready, on an inhale, lifting your heels up, looking forward, step or walk towards the top of your mat. Take your time. Lengthen on the inhale. and fold back in on the exhale. As you inhale, reach up to rise all the way up. And on the exhale, palms meet the heart. And we'll just come in for the other side from there. So inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Lengthen your spine on the inhale. As you exhale, step to plank. So again, you can either move to down dog or take a vinyasa. So lower your knees or bend your elbows. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, make your way back, downward dog. So our left foot is going to step to the top this time. So just stepping forward. Coming to warrior one again, so spin the heel, start to rise up. And again, make the necessary adjustments. So to your feet, maybe widening your stance, to your upper body, maybe bending your arms. Coming into that position that gives you ease, but still challenges us. So we're still trying to, open up the body. If we just come in kind of half-heartedly, then we might not get that. So there's the strength as well as the ease within the posture. Staying present. Focus, gaze, and steady breath. Okay, let's open up to warrior two. So take your time moving round. Again, you might widen your stance quite a bit here. You might be able to deepen it a little bit, but without force, and just seeing how it feels. Start to open up the upper body and look along your front hand. Big knee over the ankle on the front leg. And the back toes kind of turning towards that long edge of your mat. So you want to have that opening in your hips here. So we're pulling back on the front knee and we're also pulling back on this right hip as well. So squeezing into your glutes there. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Start to move to triangle now. So we're going to straighten your front leg, maybe hop your back foot in a little bit if you'd like. Pushing away now gently through that right hip, lengthening over the left leg and releasing the hand down just to where it will go. Again, your top hand, you might take it behind your back. So if that helps you to open up the chest a bit more, then do that. If you feel you want to reach it up, then do that. And use your block. Good. Lengthen the bottom sideways, so we're kind of stretching away from that bottom leg. And the bottom leg actually kind of has a slight turn out, so towards the left, so it's not kind of straight on, but it is kind of engaging and turning out a little bit to get that kind of stretch over it. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Start to rise up again, so draw your belly in and then re-bend that front leg. So we are going to move into half moon again. If you want to stay in this warrior two, then stay here. So with your block or the floor, you're going to reach your hand down. And again, maybe hop your back foot in a little bit first, and then start to push into that left leg and lift your right leg high. So opening up through your chest. Good. And think about the alignment of your bottom arm. So it shouldn't be too close to that front foot. So if it is, it's probably too far back here. Yeah, and that top arm's not good. So it needs to be quite far forward so you get that more openness in the chest. A little bit like that triangle we were trying to move forward. Okay, let's move back into warrior two. So take your time. So stretching back through the leg, gently lay it down. Come back into warrior two when you're ready. Good, very nice. Okay, release both hands, so down towards the ground, turning on the toes of your back leg once more, and then stepping back, we'll just lower down into that child's pose. So knees down, maybe widen them, start to set the hips back and reach the arms out. Relax the head. Take a little rest. Now you can either stay in this wide leg child's pose. We are doing kind of a little prep for a wide leg forward fold that we're going to do. So if you want to, you could try a little kind of frog pose. You can come up first if you want, or you can stay down there. I'm going to turn around. I don't know if that'll help you to see or not, but basically with your legs, you want your knees wide. We want the toes turned out and move forward a little bit. So your inside of your feet are on the ground, and there's kind of a straight line between your knee and your ankle. And then you can either stay high or you can lower yourself down. So it's really an attempt to try and get our hips open a little bit more. So it's called frog because you should look like a frog, and take your body weight forwards a little bit. So it's a bit like our child's pose in that respect. So we're not sunk back towards our heels. It's this like the child's pose, I should say, in that respect. So we're not pushing back towards our heels, but our hip and our knee are in line in a kind of horizontal way. And then your knee and your ankle in line, but in a vertical way. And then see if you can release down. If it feels like torture, then please come out of it. Okay, when you're ready, slowly we'll come back up. So use your hands, walk your knees in, and then have a little seat towards the front. So we're coming into a wide leg forward fold now. So we're going to take your legs pretty wide. Your knees can be bent, remember here, or you can straighten your legs out. And then either sitting on maybe a rolled up mat or something, you can use that to tilt your pelvis forwards, or just use your hands and take the fleshy parts kind of behind you so you are more onto these sit bones. Now, if you'd like to reach up, you can. So as you inhale, we stretch up, and then on the exhale, we fold in. And if you want to just walk your hands forwards, then you can do that as well. And again, you can use your block here. So you can either use your block, maybe resting your head onto it, maybe taking it down so you can rest your forearms, or maybe you just don't use it at all. Some people even like to have it out in front so you can kind of stretch your arms out for a little bit. Yeah, up to you. Okay, let's take one more inhale. So we are going to move up, so just take your time, start to draw yourself back up again. And we're going to come in for a little stretch for your hips here. So if you bend your right leg in, so kind of to a straight line between your knee and your ankle. And then we're going to bend your left leg. So we're going to take that so that it's aligned to the long edge of your mat. So if you use kind of this short edge for this right leg, and the long edge for the other leg, and try and sit upright onto your sit bones as much as you can. And we're going to take a little stretch here. So we're going to take your right hand behind you. Your left hand, you can just reach it up if you want to, or you're going to push onto that right hand, lift your hips up, start to press the hips forwards, and then reach up. At the moment, you're probably kind of reaching to the side. See if you can reach back a little bit. So we kind of push the hips more forward, and we reach back, so getting more of a stretch there. But again, if it suits you to reach to the side, then do that. Okay, let's take one more inhale, slowly releasing yourself all the way back down, and we'll change sides. So swing your legs around. So left leg in front, and it's going to be in that straightish line, and then that right leg just to the side, aligned with that long edge. So using your left hand just behind you, right arm just stretching up. And if this is enough, you simply stay here. If you want a little bit more, push more into that left hand, press your hips higher and reach. And again, you might feel you're kind of reaching sideways. See if you can reach back the way instead. So we get a little stretch to our back. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Slowly release everything all the way down. Good. Bring your legs to the front. Maybe take a little bit of a windscreen wiper just side to side gently. Now from here, we are going to make our way down onto our mat, so you can just take your time coming down. If you've got a block, if you grab it, so you can use that for your bridge. So laying yourself down on your mat, have your feet about hip distance apart. So if you'd like to grab the block for your bridge, then you're just going to lift your hips up, placing the block at any height underneath the hips, and then just simply relax into it. If you want to move into a bridge, then just lifting your hips a little bit higher. And you can always use the back of your arms to push the hips more, or into linking your fingers and move your shoulder blades under, and then lift up a bit more. But where does it feel right? Finding that sense of ease in the posture without continuously having to push everything. Being patient, just waiting for the body to unfold. When you're ready, we'll slowly release. So you can release your hands, start to slowly release the hips all the way back down again. Now we are just going to do a little simple twist today. So if you want to, you can just lower your legs over to one side, turning the head the other way. Just taking time to move into it without anything fancy going on. When you're ready, back towards the middle, just change and take the legs the other way, turning the head in the opposite direction. Now from here, come back into the center. This time, draw your knees in towards your chest. And we're going to come in either just for your knees in, so you can widen them and move them over towards your shoulders. Or if you want to come into happy baby here, then flexing your feet up towards the ceiling, hands either behind the back of your thighs, your calves, your ankles. Maybe you can grab your feet. And if you like to hook your big toes, then you can do that as well. So try to encourage the lower back to press towards the mat a little bit more. Maybe you move a little bit side to side. And if you'd like to, you can always start extending through your legs. You could extend, but you don't have to. Well done. Okay, when you're ready, slowly release, draw your knees in towards your chest. So any little final movements that you want to make, then you can. We are going to move into Shavasana next. So if you do want to grab a jumper, some socks or something, then please do that. Let's begin by bringing our attention to our breath. Bringing you away from the thoughts and emotions swirling around, and finding comfort in simple movement of your inhale and your exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. And let your breath expand. Breathing in just a bit deeper and breathing out just a bit longer. letting it slow you down and bring you here. Your body may be asking for your attention. Perhaps your nose itches, or your arm wants to move, or maybe your leg wants to stretch. Without responding to any of these requests, see if you can simply notice what your body is asking for and sit with it, resisting the urge to scratch or stretch or move, just for a little bit. And instead, just focus on your breath while you wait. Breathing out any discomfort through your exhale. Now see if you can recognize any thoughts you may be having, thoughts telling you to do something, or thoughts reminding you of the task for the day ahead. See if you can imagine these thoughts as clouds floating above you. You here separate from them, choosing in this moment not to engage in their demands, but instead sitting here patiently, calmly, in the space of presence and nothingness, just being, focusing instead on your breath, breathing in and breathing out, and waiting, watching the clouds go by. Let yourself feel the spaciousness, the power of being still, the beauty of not reacting, the power of patience. When you're ready, we'll take a deep inhale, so just through your nose. And then we're just going to sigh it out your mouth, just letting it go. And if you'd like to do that again, just take a deep inhale. And then just let it all go. And then we'll just start to move a little bit. So through your fingers and your toes. Perhaps reaching your arms overhead, taking a big stretch. As your arms come over, beginning to bend the knees and making the movements a little bit bigger. If you do want to roll over onto your side, then you can do that. And then just when you're ready, we'll just start to make our way up. Take your time. Finding a comfortable seat when you're ready. Bring the palms together, so just in front of your heart. So just leaving a little gap just to signify an openness in your heart. So thank you so much for coming along and practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed the patience practice that we did. Namaste. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies. Well done. I'll just stop that recording.